Welcome to the Small Business Breakthrough Podcast, where every week we're interviewing guests that support the small business industry. And this week we have a little bit of a twist, but not too much. Marketing is such a crucial part of the business. And I've talked with a lot of marketing agencies on this podcast. However, today's guest has spent over 10 years specifically supporting small businesses because working through marketing is a very big challenge and can be super expensive for you if you hire the wrong person. So, how do you know if you're hiring the wrong person? Listen to this interview with Ruby Benoit, CEO and founder of Craft Good Business, and we'll get some more details. Ruby, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Ruby, can you give us a quick intro? What was the passion? What became the passion project from you? You worked in corporate and you went into small business and you've
Mhm.
built it. What was the desire to help small businesses?
Well, before I get into that, this wasn't planned at all. I was in corporate America over 20 years. And just after spending those 20 years in corporate America, I was at a VP of marketing position. And then I suddenly found myself without a job, a title, a company, didn't know where I was going because my position was eliminated from corporate America. So it was really terrifying. I was freaking out. But then I was also really excited because I decided, okay, I'm going to start my own business and help other people, help other companies, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs market their businesses. Because as an entrepreneur, you wear several hats. You don't know what to do with marketing. You know what you do best. So I wanted to come up with a way to help companies, specifically craft breweries, because I was living in San Diego at the time, help them figure out how to do marketing and keep it simple but strategic so they can grow instead of like seeing the squirrels all over the place with the shiny objects. Like I help them focus on, okay, this is your strategy. Let's move forward and get some business done and get you some dollars.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm in Montana at the time of this recording, and craft breweries are a big thing in Montana and have
Mhm.
become over the years. And that's definitely a big element. Solopreneurship is so hard to be chief cook and bottle washer. Like you're doing everything, and you
Oh
could
yeah.
spend a whole week researching how to do marketing on Facebook, and then they'll change it. And you
Oh
have to
yeah.
spend another week figuring out what they changed. And it's a continuous battle. Um, what's the benefit to a small business owner to hiring out with through a marketing agency such as yourself that can give them the benefits so that they know and confidence that they know they are in good hands?
Yeah, well, one of the benefits is they relieve some of their tasks or they get some more time. They relieve their energy. They don't have to put that much energy when they actually hire out to someone that knows what they're doing. And so for like my clients, I help them specifically with like strategic marketing. I go in there and say, okay, like with my nonprofit client, they didn't know anything to do with marketing and they needed help raising money. So I went in, helped them build a plan, a strategic plan, and then we basically came up with a plan for the social media and being very consistent and clear on what they should post, when they should post, which hashtags, like being very clear and intentional on what they're doing.
One thing in today's culture that I notice is that instant gratification. But social media marketing is anything but instant gratification. It takes time and consistency, as you're talking about. Talk to me a little bit about how you help guide your clients through being patient because everybody's like, what? It's not working. It's not working. Well, we've only had it up for 24 hours. Let's like, what's it going to take? How do
Yeah.
you talk with your clients about that part of the process?
Well, I set the expectations from day one, saying, okay, marketing, you're not going to get results within 24 hours. It takes time, it takes testing. You needed to like A/B testing, like test out this graphic here, test this graphic here, see which one's best. And then you adjust your plan. Even though you up with a strategic marketing plan, it's going to adjust depending upon what's going on with your business, with competitors, the market, politics, like everything will affect what you're doing in your business, especially with marketing.
I've run into situations with clients where they've hired marketing agencies and they've done fantastic. And I highly recommend hiring a marketing agency to do the work. But how do you work with the clients to have an option to be able to close the deals? Because if the leads start coming in and they don't have a close process, that can negatively impact your business. How do you deal with those
Yeah.
situations?
Yeah, well, also besides getting into that, like when I work with my clients, we come up with a whole strategy, like go through the framework. Like first we start out, what's your purpose, your why, make sure that they really understand that. Besides just making money, like dig deeper, like, oh, I want to make money because I have a family or I want to create a legacy for them. And then we go through like an audit and a bunch of other things. But then within that strategy part, we figure out, okay, what are your goals? What are your SMART goals? Like, oh, it's this amount of sales. Okay. So based off of this amount of sales, do you have the infrastructure to service those clients or to sell those products? And like, okay, how are you going to get there? So we work backwards on like, this is their overall goal. This is how you're going to be affected by the sales. And this is who you need to hire, whether it's a virtual assistant that can do the 15-minute discovery calls or like whatever it is, we work with it and customize it. So you're ready for those sales to come flooding in.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Listeners, listen to the gold in here. If you're working with a marketing agent or looking at a marketing agent, looking at a marketing agency, I can talk today, really, then uh, you should be looking at somebody who is paying attention to these factors, right? It's a holistic approach because what happens is you get buried by sales if you don't have that infrastructure and now you can't support it. And
Mhm.
then you fire your marketer. Not a smart move because
No.
marketing is something that is long, it goes forever. Like it's
Mhm.
not something that you can like down the road you could bring it in house. But for the time being where you're small and trying to continue to grow, it is a long-term play. It's a strategic move. It requires a strategy, as Ruby's talking about here. So make sure to key into that when you're doing your interviews. And Ruby obviously is a great person to reach out to. Ruby, it's been a great conversation. What is a recent project or initiative client that you've worked with that has really given you extra inspiration? Something that you were just like, this was an awesome project.
I would say that's my nonprofit client. They came to me, they didn't know anything about marketing, and they asked me to help use their social media to raise money for them. So came up with a strategic plan, came up with like the plan for the social media, the type of posts, the content, had it all planned out like months at least a month in advance. And the result was they were able to raise like millions of dollars. They got a 1,200% ROI, which I'm so freaking excited about. And they were too, because then they didn't have to close the doors and they were able to still help lots of people.
Yeah, that is amazing for your client. That's an awesome win for them for sure. The the marketing industry has been changing substantially in the last 2
Mhm.
years. What 3 years really, but what you've been through the kind of the long haul. You've been doing your own thing for 10 years and you have a long corporate career in marketing prior to that. What do you see the future looking like and what changes are you making to make sure that you're taking advantage of it?
Yeah, well, I think marketing is shifting in like a big way. We're moving away from like do more, be everywhere to be more like very clear, intentional, strategic, real, authentic people use instead of real too. But customers today, they're really tired of being marketed at and sold at. Like you always say, oh, there's a free this, but like, is it really free? I don't know about that. Like they're actually looking for your information so they can market to you. But yeah, it's moving that way. Technology, especially like automation, AI obviously is huge. It's everywhere. So being up to date with your technology and your AI and how to use it properly and smart. Um, and then just being able to adjust your services or your products based on this is really important and be able to balance everything.
Absolutely. When you've been building the business over the last 9 years, what's some of the successes that you've had, like the key to the success?
Mhm.
And what's a big challenge that you've had to work through?
The key to the success was realizing I can't do everything.
Oh, that's a great one.
Because going into it, I can do it. I'm Superwoman. I can do this all. But no, I could probably do it, probably not. But when I work with a team and like other like VAs or freelancers, I get somewhere farther and faster than just working by myself. And then that means, oh, I can impact more people and impact more businesses if I'm working with a team. So that's number one that I really learned, that I get to like delegate, build a team, help those people out so that I can help other people too. And then your other question was the biggest challenge, is that?
Yeah, what's the biggest challenge you've had to overcome along the way?
Well, when I first started was just figuring out how am I gonna like balance everything. Like I don't know anything about IT. I don't know anything about finance, accounting, all of that. Sales, even though people say sales and marketing come in hand, but you need to be able to be a great salesperson. It's completely different than marketing, but I believe it works together.
Yeah.
So just getting over that overwhelm. And that's why I started my business, because I wanted to help other people figure it out and don't be so overwhelmed with marketing and business. Like focus on what you're great at and then hire out the tasks that can be delegated to others.
Yeah, and I think the biggest term inside of that for the listeners out there is don't get stuck on hire, meaning you need to hire a person to work for you as a W-2 employee.
Yeah.
Make sure you like contract it out. Just find help. There's no matter what you're going to pay, but it's easier to pay on a contract basis to a agency or somebody that can help and is specialized than it is to hire an employee and then
Yeah.
hope and lead, trying to lead them and be a leader. Like you're good at the service that you provide, and
Mhm.
you want to focus on that, as Ruby has talked about.
And just one more thing I wanted, since we were talking about VAs, like when you are hiring someone, have like a detailed job description and know exactly what you're hiring them to do. And if you are going through an agency or just hiring the freelancer themselves, like really dig deep and say, okay, this is everything I need from you. Give me specific examples on how you've done this in your past. I can just talk to that because like I've gone through that. I've hired like 3 VAs and I didn't dig as deep as I should have. So lesson learned, dig deep, know exactly what you want and what
Yes,
you need to grow.
that is great. And utilize tools such as
Yeah.
AI to help you build or create draft templates for those job descriptions.
Hmm.
And the key, I think,
Yeah.
is make sure you're hiring for the things you don't like to do. You know
Yes.
how to do them, so you can manage to the task, but you don't like to do them. And so there's other people out there that do like to do them, and
Mhm.
that's the best initial hire that you can make if you're using, whether that's a VA, a contracted service, or an agency.
Yeah, definitely.
It has been a great conversation. There's been so much gold inside of here about how you are helping small businesses continue to build their business and grow as a solopreneur or an entrepreneur. Are you ready to jump into our lightning round and run through the final 5 or 6 questions?
Sure.
Okay. First question starts off with coffee or tea?
Coffee, but specifically cafe con leche.
Okay, there you
Favorite.
go. Call out there. How about cats or dogs?
Dogs.
If you could grab only one weapon or item during a zombie apocalypse, what would it be?
My brother's AR.
Uh, there you
I
go.
don't know it, but I'm
I'm
gonna go
not sure
grab
how
it.
you're gonna not sure how you're gonna get it from your brother, but well, that's a
He has
different story.
many.
Okay, there you go. How about a favorite quote or phrase that you think about often?
If it's to be, it's up to me.
That's good. I like that one. One book that has influenced your life the most.
So my favorite book is by Milan Kundera. It's called The Unbearable Lightness of Being.
Okay,
It's a
very
little
good.
philosophical, but it's changed my life. I love it.
Excellent. That's all. That's great. And hopefully it changes somebody else's life that's
Yeah.
listening to this episode. Biggest obstacle you have had to overcome and one lesson you learned from it.
Oh, there's many, but I guess my fun one is I quit my corporate job because I felt like I was in a rut, and I just packed my bags, moved to southern France without a job, nowhere to live, and not knowing anyone, but it taught me survival skills, and like it taught me to go for what I want and don't be afraid of doing it, because if you don't like it, you can always go back or figure something else out.
That is a life lesson in itself right there. Is you can figure things out no matter what the situation is that you're
Yeah.
in, and life skills like that is in a foreign country even, um,
Mhm.
where you may or may not understand the language is definitely a challenge in its own.
Yeah.
Ru- Ruby, it's such a great conversation. Thank you so much. How can our listeners collaborate with you if they want to learn more about craft good business?
Yeah, they can go to my website, which is craftgoodbusiness.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn. And I actually put together something that could be helpful with marketing strategy. It's called the Marketing Mastery Bundle, and you can find it at craftgoodbusiness.com/resources.
Excellent. I've got that link up on the screen for those watching on YouTube. The link directly to that information will be in the show notes and the description below. And I want to thank Ruby for her time here today. And there's just so much gold, especially in the fact that when you're hiring for a marketing agency, I mean, you're looking to find somebody that's going to help you with your marketing. Make sure you're asking the questions about how they're going to help you with the whole strategy, not just marketing. Because the marketing will come, you can find a great marketing agency, but if you don't have all the systems in place to back up the new sales that are coming in or the delivery of the services that are being required, the business will struggle. Every new level comes with a new devil. That is a common saying. But for sure, pay attention to how this agency can help you from a holistic standpoint set up that strategy. And that's one great thing that Ruby has going for her and her clients. Reach out to her if you'd like to find out more information. If you got value out of this episode and you want to hear more of the Small Business Breakthrough podcast, check out the description or check out the playlist located here in the corner. If you're listening on, um, if you're listening to this on audio, we'd love to get some feedback from you. Leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing. And until next time.